This episode of the Oranges, Orange and Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Alliant Health Center and The Place. Alliant Health Center is the first chiropractic biophysics clinic in Northern Ohio, serving patients in the Westlake and Beechwood, Ohio areas. The team at Alliant Health Center helps patients with back pain, neck pain, migraines, ADHD, digestive issues, sleep disturbance, whiplash, scoliosis, and much more. The mission at Alliant Health Center is simple: to help people in the Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. As chiropractic biophysics providers, Aligned Health Center addresses the structure of the spine as one whole piece. You see, the spine should have a certain shape to it, and when it's in that proper shape, it's easily able to support the body. Traditional chiropractic care focuses on how two bones relate to each other, while chiropractic biophysics can literally reshape the spine to its ideal overall shape. Call Aligned Health Center today at 440-230-6865 or visit them online at AlignedHealthCenters.com to make an appointment and to learn more about how Aligned Health Center can help you. Again, that's 440-230-6865 or visit AlignedHealthCenters.com. This episode is also brought to you by The Place. The Place is the place for all of their hot tub, spa, fireplace, and outdoor grill needs. The Place has been in business for 52 years. It's all family owned and operated. It is a full-service fireplace and spa superstore. They have a newly renovated 16,000 square foot showroom with over 40 live-burning fireplaces and over 40 hot tubs and swim spas on display. When you go, it is an experience. It's fascinating. You've got to go check it out. They've been voted North America's #1 service center by Coast Spas 2 of the last 4 years. Their continued follow-up and product service sets them apart from their competitors. The Place is not happy and satisfied until you, the customer, are happy and satisfied. Visit The Place on 2377 Medina Road today to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. Look for the palm trees. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. In this episode, Jeremy and I recap the Browns' loss to the Broncos. Jeremy gives us his 5 hot minutes presented by Online Motor Credit. We look at silver linings and pass out game balls. This might be one of the most depressing episodes we've ever recorded. Neither of us are happy. Neither of us are optimistic. And it's got to take a lot for us to be down. We'll see what happens. Jim Donovan, take us away.
45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, kick block! They blocked the kick!
This is the Oranges, Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I'm your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, you okay, buddy?
Oh, yeah, man. Great. No, look, I mean, it is what it is. We lost to a quarterback who, we lost to a quarterback who had never taken an NFL snap, made us look ridiculous. We had a DB threaten to kill people in the media. All's well in Cleveland.
Well, let's get things started with 5 hot minutes with Jeremy Powell, presented by our good friends at Online Motor Credit. Jeremy, go.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know what's funny? A lot of times you can come out and say, it's not as bad as it looks. Dude, it's as bad as it looks. I mean, there's no way around it. The numbers don't lie. Baker Mayfield isn't getting it done. Freddie Kitchens isn't getting it done. The team's a mess. There's no discipline. When you got a safety who comes off the field and he's tweeting from his cleats, trying to, threaten local media members. You have Odell in the biggest game of the year and Jarvis purposely wearing cleats they knew weren't allowed. I mean, there's no discipline on this team. It's an absolute mess. I hate to say it because we were all so excited about Baker, but Baker's part of the problem. Freddie's part of the problem. Odell's part of the problem. It's a complete and utter mess. You know what it all comes back to, Chase? This team needed an experienced coach. They needed a coach that had been there before to handle these personalities and to piece this thing together. And, as much as I want to blame Freddie, it's not even just Freddie. It's John Dorsey. We all love John Dorsey before the season. Remember we were talking about building a statue to John Dorsey, how it's John Dorsey's time for a statue? Yeah. But the buck stopped with John on this. We should have went the experienced coach route. You know what? We talked about this before, Chase. It should have been Bruce Arians. If Bruce Arians was the coach of this team right now, with Freddie Kitchens as the offensive coordinator and whoever they brought in as the defensive coordinator, this team would probably be, 5-3. Would you say 5-3 probably? Because it's just the inexperience of Freddie at making decisions. And the inability to manage these big egos are two things that Bruce Arians could have done. You know, it was just too lax. You know, we go back and we laughed about OTAs and how the team just let Odell do what he wanted, and how we said, oh, he doesn't need him. He doesn't need him. You know what, though? It set a precedent. It did. And now there's no discipline. Have you ever seen anything like what Isaiah Whitehead did on Twitter after the game? Zach Jackson had the quote that he was tweets from his cleats. He was still in his cleats in the locker room 10 minutes after the game, and he's tweeting threats at fans and media members. Have you ever seen anything like that, Jace? Ever?
No.
10 minutes after a game? It's never happened. It's unprecedented. Have you ever seen this many little things? I love Odell. I still love Odell. He's an incredible talent. But, I mean, a watch, wanting to wear a watch, wanting to wear whatever spikes, no discipline. There's no control of this team. And I've never seen anything like it. And the talent's obviously there. I mean, look, you can look out and see it. Some good stuff did happen in Denver. I mean, scored on 7 drives. We had 10 drives. 7 of them we got inside their 30. We didn't score. We had stopped twice on 4th down. We had 7 drives that went inside into the red zone. We did some good things. The talent's obviously there. But when it's crunch time, when you're in the red zone, when you have to be precise, when you have to be disciplined, when you have to do things exactly right, we're failing. And I think that all lands at the feet of Freddie Kitchens, Freddie Kitchen lands at the feet of John Dorsey, because it was John Dorsey's pick to keep Freddie. You know how we talked about during the offseason about how they teleconference Baker into these interviews and stuff? They never should have done that. He's a second-year player. He didn't have any reason to be involved in those interviews. He doesn't have the wisdom and foresight to pick a coach. That should have been John Dorsey. You know, Freddie's a great guy. The players love him. I hear all that, you know, but he's probably too close to the players in this situation. They probably needed a guy like a Mike McCarthy, or someone who is a disciplinarian who wasn't going to be buddies with the players. You know, they tell you don't be friends with your kids because sometimes you got to be the adult. Same thing with the head coach in the NFL. You can't be buddies with all the players because sometimes you got to be the adult and you got to put your foot down. And where do we go from here? I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. The one thing Freddie got right this week is he said now it's just 1 week at a time. I mean, if we lose this week, the season's over. We lose Thursday against Steelers, season's over. Really, the season's probably over now. But the only thing we can hope for is to go 1 week at a time, see what happens this week, see if something changes. I doubt it will, but that's all we can do now, Chase.
You know, I'll tell you what I've never seen before. I've never seen a team intentionally get a delay of game so they can go for it on 4th and 16 like 2 weeks ago. I've never seen a team, Jeremy, get a 12-minute on the field penalty on a kneel down at the end of a half.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before.
Yep, never seen a team run the ball on 4th and 9, trying to draw.
Well, I can't say that because I'm pretty sure the Browns have done that exact play before. I've
never seen it like it.
So that's what I haven't seen before. And we talked about it last week. I think Dorsey, like you said, gets a lot of blame. He fanned into flame all the hype, all the attention, all the expectation. We're going to wake a sleeping giant. I mean, words from his mouth, he didn't stop it at all. He just let it continue to ball out of control. Why wouldn't you, if you're Myles Garrett, write a letter in the Players Tribune? Why wouldn't you do that? Why not? What do you know? All you've known is the disorganization that Cleveland's had, and then you get this GM who's bringing in players, and he's, you know, allowing you to dream. And why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you allow Baker to gain however much weight or do whatever and make all these, like, why wouldn't you allow him to do that? I don't know, man.
Chase, it goes back to that, though. This team needed a strong disciplinarian. They made, you know, John Dorsey obviously overlooked the fact, or just didn't think it was going to be that big a deal, of all these egos to manage with Jarvis, with Odell, with Baker, all these big personalities. And you put a guy who until the last 8 weeks of last year had never been more than a position coach in 20 years in the league. Think about that. You ever think that maybe there was a reason that Freddie Kitchen never rised above position coach? Okay, so you put him in a position to be the head coach, and he's not ready for it. He doesn't know how to manage his egos, and it's not all the way his fault because he was not ready to do this. And it's clear now. You know, I put out a couple polls today on Twitter, and they got over 1,000 response. And I just to see what people would think, I put out, who would you rather have as head coach of the Browns, Urban Meyer or Freddie Kitchens? Guess what it was?
That wasn't fair.
88%.
Yeah.
88% Urban Meyer. I mean, the Baker Mayfield one, even this, I put who would you rather have the quarterback of the Browns next year, Baker Mayfield or Joe Burrow? 1,200 votes. 75% Baker Mayfield. What do you think that poll would have been 2 months ago? 99% Baker Mayfield. It's almost a train off the tracks, and this Sunday could be the moment it comes off the tracks. And there's blame to go around, but I think you got to blame John Dorsey, you got to blame Freddie Kitchens, you got to blame Baker Mayfield. And I know there's still people that get mad when you try to put some blame at the feet of Baker Mayfield, but it is his fault. I mean, it's clear. I saw the pictures today from his press conference right after he got drafted. You're right. He's put on a ton of weight. He looks sloppy. There's no way around it. He obviously underestimated the workload and what he would have to do to get ready for this season. He had a lot going on. He didn't do what he needed to do. I'm not ready to throw Baker Mayfield out. I think Baker Mayfield, he showed it last year. 27. I mean, look at the numbers in the red zone last year. 20 touchdowns, 0 picks. Do you know right now he has the worst quarterback percentage, every single stat you can measure in the red zone. He is the worst in the league when not under pressure, and it's not even close. 6 touchdowns, 10 picks with no pressure on him. He's the worst by a mile. Now, Baker Mayfield did not just forget how to play football, okay? You don't go from that good to that bad. There's other factors. There's got to be. Getting on the same page with his guys, not having that big giant red zone target like Darren Fells or David Njoku. There's a lot of things that go into it, but a lot of it is Baker, and a lot of it is Freddie. And I got a bad feeling it can't be fixed this year. I think it's going to require, and it's probably going to cost Freddie his job. Look, if they go 4-12, 5-11, there's zero chance they can bring back Freddie. They got to go out and get an experienced head coach that can manage egos, and it's going to take an off season of Baker putting in the work with his receivers, with the coaching staff, nonstop work to fix this, because I just got a bad feeling there's too many problems to fix overnight, and the season's probably over. I mean, for all intents and purposes.
What is Sunday going to be like, Jay? I mean, it's going to be savage out there. I mean,
and it's going to be the Bills fans travel. Yeah, Bills fans travel. They're 6-2. There'll probably be 20,000 Bills fans at that game.
Dude, I don't think that.
I've seen it.
Fans.
I'm telling you, Chase, I've seen it on a Thursday night game when the Bills were just 500. There was thousands of Bills fans. Bills Mafia travels. It's a 4-hour drive. Okay. Browns fans are selling their tickets. I've seen it all over Twitter today. There is going to be a ton of Bills fans at this game. And if we come out poorly or we play bad, it's going to sound on TV like a Bills home game. You watch and see. Now, I mean, we could always come out. I mean, there's enough talent on this team where we could come out and blow them out. I mean, it could happen. Sometimes talent overcomes, obstacles like coaching. But at this point, I can't pick the Browns to win a single game until I see them do something. You know who had the line of the week? And he said this last week, and when they were trying to figure out a way that the Browns could possibly lose to Brandon Allen, a quarterback who had never taken a snap, Nathan said, I don't feel confident about anybody we play right now because it's the Browns versus the Browns. The Browns are playing against themselves in so many ways, and that's such a profound and intelligent statement if you really sit back and think about it. The Browns are beating themselves with penalties. They're beating themselves with poor execution. They're beating themselves with stupid play calls. Their talent lines up with anybody they play. I mean, you see the 2 catches Odell made, the moves he made when he has the ball in his hands is dangerous, but then you only target him 6 times. It just doesn't make sense. The guy's a freak, and you can't figure out how to get him the ball. It's a mess, Chase. And like I said, I don't know how they fix it in season.
Well, this is where we're at. Baker's going to outlast Freddie Kitchens. There's no way the Browns are going to move on from Baker before they get it, before they move on from Freddie. And he'll probably,
I agree,
even if it doesn't work out, outlast that coach. I don't see the Browns, who have a quarterback who set the rookie record in pass down, who led a Hugh Jackson team to 7-8-1, who's the face of Hulu, who's on program. I don't see the Browns moving on from Baker anytime soon. And so Baker's our quarterback. He's our quarterback this year. He's going to be our quarterback next year. And barring an absolute another train wreck next year, he's going to be our quarterback in 2022. So
I won't
that's
go that
where we're
far.
at.
I'll go with next year for sure, because if this thing keeps going completely south, it's going to be Freddie's going to be the fall guy. He'll be gone, and they'll bring in another coach to work with Baker, and then it remains to be seen. If he's bad again, he won't be back the year after that. But if they get in, because then you've been through 2 coaches, 3 systems, and if you can't get it back to where it was the end of last year, he will be gone after that. But essentially, I agree with you. There's no way that Baker doesn't outlast Freddie. That's 100%.
Yeah. So why is Freddie still a coach, Jay? Does
Look,
Dorsey
they're
not
not
want
going
to
to.
admit that he was wrong?
No, I just think there's almost no reason. They're not going to catch lightning in the bottle by bringing Todd Monken up as the offensive coordinator. They're going to let this play out. I mean, like I said, all you can do now is go week to week and, challenge the guys, and they have to improve. They're going to give there's 2 reports came out today that said the Browns are going to give Freddie Kitchen this whole year no matter what. And I think that's probably the right thing to do, even though I think Freddie's in way over his head. But you let this season play out. You see what happens. And if they don't improve at all and it's still a mess, you move on from Freddie. I mean, it is what it is. You hopefully, in my opinion, I know people don't want retreads, quote unquote, but hopefully they find someone who is a head coach at some level. Because, being a head coach is more than being an X's and O guy as well. A head coach has got to be a leader of men. Coordinators, you got to be an X and O freak, right, to be an offense or defensive coordinator. But as a head coach, it's they say there's only 6, in basketball they say there's only 6 inches of difference between the assistant coach and the head coach, but it might as well be a mile because it's such a big leap. That's the same thing in the NFL. The leap from a coordinator to a head coach is a giant leap because it requires a different skill set. To be a coordinator, you just have to be a football X and O junkie who knows what he's, knows the sport like the back of his hand. When you become a head coach, you are a manager of men and egos. And that's where I think Freddie was not ready to manage egos, to manage game situations, to manage all of this and still call plays. And, that's the problem. So I hope if they do blow Freddie out, they hire somebody who has been a head coach at least in the NFL or college, someone who has been in that chair.
Look, this sucks, man. These type of shows suck. The state of the Browns, this sucks. This was not what anyone wanted or expected or even envisioned. We did mention what would be the worst case scenario at the start of the season, and this is probably it. So once again, Browns fans find themselves the butt of every joke online, the butt of every
Macaulay Culkin. We got Macaulay Culkin making fun of us yesterday. That's how bad it's gotten.
Once again, we find ourselves in very familiar territory, except now we didn't see it coming. This was not what was promised. This was not what the team promoted, and this hurts. Jay, does this hurt more than the 016?
Oh yeah, in my opinion, it hurts way more. Because there was no, in reality, we are eternal optimists, so we thought we would be good, but in reality, there was no expectations on those seasons, right? No one really thought that we were going to be good this year. It really kills because we all thought we were going to be good, everybody, and there was reason to think it with the talent on the roster coming off the second half of the season last year, like we did, going 5-3 in our last 8. All of that led us to this, and then when it's like they always say go in low, right? Go in low. Well, none of us went in low. We all went in high, and we had reason to go in high. And now it's like we've been chopped off at the knees, and it sucks. And it sucks every Sunday. It sucks. I mean, did you really think we were going to lose to a quarterback who had never taken a snap in the league? No, nobody. You did. Okay, maybe you thought we could lose, but because you were so down on Freddie. I thought there was no way we were losing that game. I even thought at the end we were going to find a way to come back and win, but I mean, it's just it's part of the whole thing, and it's just sucks.
That was 5 Hot Minutes with Jeremy Powell, presented by our good friends at Online Motor Credit. Online Motor Credit is a family-owned and operated business. Their area's first zero-interest in-house financing. They offer zero-interest in-house financing because they understand that life happens. Providing good cars to good people at great prices is their motto. They provide a full-service garage with certified techs on hand every single day, from brakes, tune-ups, and suspension work to air conditioning service. Online Motor Credit also provides good work at great prices. Located in Ravenna, Ohio, this NFL season, make Online Motor Credit your first down stop in car shopping. visit their website at onlinemotorcars.net. Use promo code ORANGE19 at checkout to receive 10% off brake jobs or any service work. Also, mentioning Orange19 during the purchase of a car receives a free oil change for an entire year. Use that promo code Orange19, onlinemotorcars.net. Online Motor Credit, providing cars to good people at great prices. Jeremy, let's talk Browns silver lining. Are there any silver linings from the Mile High disaster on Sunday?
No, I mean, the defense looked like crap. You lost to a horrible quarterback. Even Nick Chubb had a rough game. The kicking game. Yeah. Lots of field goals. They all went in. The Scottish, the Hammer had about a 70-yard, a couple of giant punts. The kicking game once again, the only silver lining. Literally, I don't have any other. So I guess Baker actually played okay, even though he missed some. No turnovers and only 5 penalties. There's your silver linings. Kicking game, no turnovers, 5 penalties. That's it.
Yeah, that's I was right there with you, man. Kicking game obviously is the strength of the team. And anytime special teams is the best part of your team, it's not a good look. Baker didn't throw an interception. And if you take away the shovel pass debacle in New England, he really hasn't thrown an interception in 2 games, which
Baker's playing better, to be honest. I'll give him that.
Before the bye, he was pretty careless with the ball. It seemed, and it seems that he's trying to really remedy that. Would you say it's stopped him from throwing downfield?
Well, I mean, the downfield passing game is gone. There's nothing. When's the last deep shot we took? Can you remember? San Francisco, maybe, when he threw the pick to Richard Sherman. I mean, he's not throwing the ball downfield. Last year, that was one of the creative things. Yeah, and that was underthrown. Remember last year, I know you don't like David Njoku, but we talked about how Freddie would use those deep routes and David Njoku almost as a decoy because he was so big, it would pull the safeties over and he'd hit someone. Where is that? Where is that stuff? It's gone. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. The deep passing, now maybe what you're saying is maybe it's Baker not taking the deep shots because he's so cognizant of the turnovers that he's holding back. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Dude,
there's so much.
There is so much. And whenever they show replays, the receivers are literally running the same route or running into each other, and there's no spacing.
Yeah. And I mean, I understand some of the concepts with, the natural rubs and the natural picks and on the short, especially on the short, and every team runs those. But when you got guys like, I know on the one play they said Demetrius Harris ran the route too deep on the 4th down play where Odell was actually open at the end of the game. Yeah. But he tried to throw it to Landry, but Demetrius Harris actually ran his route a little too deep, so that messed up the pick. So I get all that, but yeah, that comes down to execution, like we talked about, though, and that comes down to coaching.
Yeah.
When you're not, even if the scheme is right and the scheme is well done, if players aren't executing it, that comes down to coaching.
Silver lining, Baker didn't throw an interception.
Yeah, he looked okay, actually. Baker actually looked okay. He missed some throws, but he looked okay.
Well, I don't know if he looked okay is the way to word that. He looked ridiculous. He had to Fu Manchu for the game.
3 times. Yeah, that's another thing. I forgot about the touch on that in the 5 minutes. You come out with a full beard, then you cut a Fu Manchu, then you trim your beard, and you look like one of the sticky bandits, or the wet bandits from Home Alone. It's just I mean, I actually feel bad for Baker. I think he embarrassed himself, and I feel embarrassed for him, but
and I'm in the minority here, and I see how the cleats and the Fu Manchu and all that is a lack of discipline and control, but man, it's not like it's not like Odell's just doing this now. I mean, Odell is being Odell. And yeah, I can't blame him or Jarvis for being themselves. We knew what we were signing up for. It was the guy who flips himself the ball and kicks a field goal every warm-up. It's the guy who has these cleats, who sells this is what we traded for. And so part of me is like, yo, you guys, you be you. What is and Freddie said this, and I have to at least say that what is him wearing wrong cleats got to do with how we play? Now, I know it speaks to discipline, but the cleats aren't the problem. Baker wanting to try to have fun in a miserable season, I mean, in a really dumb way, that's not the problem.
I think how it looks, though, it's just a bad look when you're losing.
It is.
You know, to have all this
Yeah.
ancillary stuff going on. It's one thing if you're 6-2 to be having fun, and but when you're bad, it makes at least what do they say? Perception is reality.
Yeah.
It gives a perception that you don't really care that much.
Yeah.
When you're 2-5, a game that's a turn like we talked about, it could be a turning point in the season. And you got guys wearing whatever cleats they want, not listening, knowing that they're, OBJ played dumb, but he knew he wasn't supposed to be wearing those cleats.
Yeah.
I understand Baker with the mustache, the Fu Manchu. He was like trying to get his swagger back, like his woke up feeling dangerous type stuff. I get that.
Yeah.
But then after it doesn't work and then you shave again, you look like a moron.
Yeah.
You look like an idiot to people. And all this stuff added, all these little things add up. What do they say? Like, death by 1,000, cuts. It's like every little thing adds up to make, and it all reflects poorly on Freddie, to be honest.
Yep. It's silver linings. I mean, there's really not much.
Very
This
little
did
to talk
not
about.
go well. And, I mean, geez, at least the Browns cut Whitehead after that happened, right? Like that's,
Yeah, I mean,
we had players stick up for him on Instagram, which isn't a good look either, but
incredible. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe that I was reading it, and people were saying it wasn't his account. I knew it was his account because I started following it after I heard him on Cleveland Browns Daily when he had mentioned it. So I knew it was his real account. Some people were like, oh, that's a fake. But then I started thinking, well, maybe someone else is running it, because how could he be tweeting like this 10 minutes after the game ends? And the amazing thing was he didn't follow Dustin Fox. So he went on there and searched his name because he knew he had played like dog crap.
Yeah.
And he wanted to see what people were saying,
Yeah.
You know what? Here's a funny one. My I talk about Hunter a lot. My son, my 9-year-old son said to me halfway through the third quarter, he goes, Whitehead's missed 3 tackles that Demarius Randall would have made. Isn't that? And he's probably accurate. There's no way he misses. Noah Fant's a big boy, but Demarius Randall's a big safety. There's no way Noah Fant scores that touchdown if Randall's back there.
Yeah. So
that was the one thing we said about Randall was all those big plays had disappeared. And when Randall actually responded to me on Twitter that time, and I didn't even tweet at him, was because Randall, the one great thing about Randall, he's a sure tackler, and a lot of those big plays that killed us 2 years ago didn't happen last year, and now he's having this year with injury after injury. It's just a bad year, man. Just a bad year.
So at least the Browns cut him and didn't keep that around, I guess. But dude, tough segment to do a silver lining after this game. Not to be outdone. Any game balls, Jay, from our game in Denver?
I don't have a game ball to give out. I'll be honest with you. We've already given enough game balls to our kickers and our punter.
Yeah, but how automatic is Seibert though?
He did dink that extra point off the goal post, but it went in. But all his field goals were right down the middle. He dinked the extra point, still went in. Great pickup, but I don't even want to give him a game ball. I mean, I don't have any game balls to give out. That was an embarrassing loss.
Do you blame Freddie for going forward on 4th down there in the third quarter?
I said at the time I would have kicked it. I was talking to my dad on the phone, and I said, I'd kick it here. Why not? Just kick it.
Yeah.
Kick it. And then look, if we would have kicked it there, then we could be kicking a game-winning field goal later. Now I know hindsight's 20/20.
Sure.
And you know how Freddie, we've talked about this 100 times, how I disagree with Freddie's philosophy on a lot of things. And, I think he gets caught up in the moment sometimes, and he wants to force the aggressiveness, and that's part of being a poor game manager. Mm-hmm. But if it's me, I kick it and get it down to, 2 and then go from there.
Yep. Want to give shouts to our presenting sponsors, Alliant Health Center and The Place. Alliant Health Center is Northern Ohio's first chiropractic biophysics clinic. Their mission is simple: to help people in the Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. Also want to give shouts to The Place. The Place is a full-service fireplace and spa superstore. The Place has been in business for 52 years. All family-owned and operated, transforming your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. Also, shouts to Online Motor Credit for sponsoring our 5 Hot Minutes segment. Jeremy, any final thoughts?
No, man. I mean, literally, we said this week was the season. This upcoming week is really the season. This is it.
Oh, no,
you
it's
lose this
over.
one, there's 0. It's pretty much already over. Yeah. But if we lose this week, it's over, especially with the Ravens going out and pounding the Patriots like that. So
we'll talk more about that in our game preview here in a couple weeks, in a couple days, I mean.
Yes, sir.
But Jay, you have a great night. Get better, and we'll talk here in a couple days.
Hey, listen, I played through pain for you guys tonight, so all you guys out there listening, just know I played through pain. Go Browns, baby.
For the USA.